The Atlanta Hawks, another team led by another 22-year-old superstar in Trae Young, are tied for the fourth seed in the East with a record of 38-31. They're 8th on offense and 22nd on defense so far. They're coming off a season where they were a terrible 20-47 and were 14th in the East. They also, like many other teams, started off the season very underwhelming. They were 14-20 in the first half of the season until their firing of Lloyd Pierce. Since then, they've been much better with a record of 24-11 since the promotion of Nate McMillan. They went on an 8-game winning streak and got back on track right after this signing. Another reason for this turnaround was injuries. Hunter has missed 48 games, Bogdanovich has missed 27 games, Cam Reddish has missed 48 games, and Gallinari has missed 20 games. They've been much better since they've all been healthy. Now I'm going to be breaking down the Hawks and why they've been successful and why I believe they have the potential to be the dark horses in the Eastern Conference. First, I'd like to request you all to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Moving on, first let's talk about the possible matchups in the first round. They're probably going to face the Knicks or the Heat, as I think they should be securing the fourth spot with an easy upcoming schedule. The Heat are probably not a great matchup for them, as they can't particularly throw anyone at Jimmy Butler, and the winning pedigree of the Heat will make them favorites in that series. But the Heat have been a below average offensive team this season. Their offense is top 10, but offensively they can go real cold and lose games they shouldn't, like they've lost this year. And Hawks, being so good offensively with so much firepower, should help them be better offensively. A decent job defensively can give Hawks the edge in this series, though it's very unlikely. One thing I'm scared about though is the pick and roll matchup. The Hawks run a lot of pick and rolls with Trae Young, John Collins and Clint Kapella. And Bam, being such an amazing defender on the pick and roll, might give them a lot of trouble. But moving on to their other possible matchups, the New York Knicks. I actually believe the Hawks are high favorites in this series. The Knicks have been amazing and have overachieved much more than anyone probably thought they could this year. But their offense hasn't always been great all year long. They've been on a hot streak recently, but I doubt that's going to hold up offensively. Their strength is in their defense, and I believe, however good their defense is, the Hawks have too much shooting and firepower and a better chance at winning a 7-game series. Their second round matchup might be harder, as the Sixers are a terrible matchup for them both offensively and defensively. But still, out of all the teams in the East, I believe they have the best chance to be overachievers. Now let's talk about their best player, Trae Young. So Trae Young is a 22-year-old star point guard. He's averaging 25.6 points per game and 9.5 assists per game. His scoring has gone down from last year, but I can confidently say he's been better. He had the empty stats tag to his name last year. He didn't make an all-star team this year, but he's been playing winning basketball. His usage has gone slightly down, but his offensive win shares have gotten better. He's turning the ball over less and his assist to turnover ratio has gone up. He still scores 30 points per game on any given night. His slump in the start of the season was the reason why his points per game have gone much lower than expected. He's been better as a playmaker, though his assist numbers don't show that so much. The Hawks score the third most points on pick and rolls, and Young is the reason why. They run pick and rolls quite frequently with 34.5 pick and rolls per game. John Collins having floor stretching ability and him being surrounded by shooters such as Bogdanovich, Gallinari and Huerter helps. Young is very great at drawing fouls. Though most find his game very annoying, he's still a 88% free throw shooter on 9 attempts per game, which helps the Hawks a lot. The Hawks have 9 players averaging more than 10 points per game this season and 6 players who have played more than 2/3 of the season. Moving on to their pick and roll players, John Collins and Clint Kapella. Though Collins is having a slightly down year this year, he's been slowly getting back into form. His fit to Trae Young is perfect on the basketball court. He's an amazing pick and roll player and is a 38% 3-point shooter. He's been splitting minutes with Danilo Gallinari, and that's a part of the reason why he isn't playing as much. He started off the season real slow with some off-court drama going on between him and Trae Young and his contract situation. He averaged around 19 points per game in March and was injured through most of April. He started off May slow but has been excellent in the last 2 games. His versatility on offense and passable defense should make him an amazing threat alongside Young for the upcoming games. Kapella also has been really great this year. He's been a top 5 to 6 center in the league according to me and is an absolutely amazing defender. He's arguably their only above average defender in the starting lineup with DeAndre Hunter being out. He's 10th in the league in defensive rating and according to me is a top 5 to 10 candidate for defensive player of the year quite easily. Offensively also, he's been amazing. He's averaging 15.5 points per game on 60% shooting from the field. As mentioned before, he's a great pick and roll player next to Trae Young and a perfect lob threat. Another impressive part about both Kapella and Collins' game is their perfect fit next to Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich has been revolutionary for the Hawks. He came back from injury the same game Nate McMillan got promoted as head coach. He's been exactly what they hoped for and much more. He plays a six-man role and does an amazing job at it. He's averaging a career high 16 points per game and has played the secondary ball handler and playmaker role. He's shooting 46% from the field and near 40% from 3. His off-ball game has been just as good as his on-ball game. Him taking the ball from Trae Young's hands is just what they needed. Young, to take his next step, will need to develop as an off-ball player. Bogdanovich will be an X-factor in the playoffs due to his great complementary game with the team around him. The Hawks are a well-built deep team. Not including these players, they have players such as Kevin Huerter who's shooting 36% from 3 and is a sniper. Wing players such as Cam Reddish who have been decent offensively and amazing defensively. Also DeAndre Hunter, another wing who's been amazing defensively and offensively. Both of them are expected to be back before or during the playoffs. Danilo Gallinari, who has been another great off the bench player and has been scoring real well the games he has played and has improved from his sloppy start in the start of the season. Also, they traded an addition Lou Williams has been amazing since the trade off the bench. The depth of their team, them being underrated the whole season even after improving, and a star who can go off for 50 points on any given night gives them a great edge over the other teams as a dark horse. They have one of the deepest teams in the league and have so much scoring and firepower it's near impossible to see them all have an off game offensively. Even in games where Trae Young hasn't stepped up, they've been great due to their depth. The points I have stated make me believe the Hawks have one of the best chances to be overachievers in the Eastern Conference. That's all I have on the Hawks. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already.